It's a ethical hacking disclaimer. This video serves educational purpose only. It does not promote illegal activities. Viewers are responsible for any misuse of information related to ethical hacking, cybersecurity awareness. Hello guys, welcome back to Blackbird YouTube channel, and I'll teach you today Sublist and we are going deep into one of the most essential tools in Reconnaissance, a tool that every ethical hacker, bounty hunter, and penetration tester must have in their arsenal. We are talking about Sublist3r. This Linux-based subdomain enumeration tool is your gateway to uncovering the hidden corners of your any target infrastructure. Over the next hour, we will not just learn commands, we will truly understand how this tool thinks, how it gathers intelligence, and how you can build it like a pro. By the end of this season, you will able to transform a single domain name into a comprehensive map of entire online presence. So fasten your seatbelts. We have the exciting journey ahead. Before we type a single command, we need to understand the what and why of Sublister. Simply put, Sublist3r is a Python-based open source intelligence tool specifically designed for one job, enumerating subdomain of a target website using technique called OSINT, open source intelligence. Imagine you are an investigator and someone gives you a single address. Your goal is find every entrance, every back door, every connected building. That is exactly what Sublist3r does for a domain like example.com. It soars the internet, asking search engine and public database show me all subdomain related to this domain from mail.example.com to admin.example.com to dev.api.example.com. It finds them all. This is foundation of reconnaissance, and it is absolutely critical for identification potential attack surface before any real testing begins. You might be wondering, why should I care subdomains? Here is the truth. Subdomains are often weakest links in organizations' security chain. When companies secure their main website, they pour all their resources into protecting www.example.com. But what about staging.example.com or test.api.example.com? These subdomains are often forgotten, poorly maintained, running outdated software, or even completely unmonitored. For attackers, these are golden opportunity for use as ethical hackers. Discovering these subdomains means discovering potential vulnerability before the bad guys do. Sublister help us find these hidden entry points easily and efficiently, giving us a complete picture of attack surface. Remember, you cannot protect what you cannot see. Subdomain enumeration is the flashlight that eliminates the dark corners. Let's talk about how Sublister actually works. It uses something called OSINT, open source intelligence. This means it collects information from publicly available source without directly interacting with target server. Why is this important? Because passive reconnaissance is stealthy. It leaves no logs, no alert, and no footprint. Sublister query search engine like Google, Yahoo, Bing, Baidu, and ask to find any indexes pages or related records related to subdomains of your target. It also taps into specialized security data sources like Aristotle, Threat, Crowd, DNS Dumpster, and Netcraft. Think of these as intelligence agents who have been watching and collecting data for years. Sublist 3R simply ask them, "What have you seen?" And they respond with treasure trove of subdomain information. I have used this technique countless times, and results are always surprising. Now, passive enumeration is great, but it has limitation. It can only find what has already been indexed or recorded publicly. What about subdomain that exist but have never been mentioned anywhere? They are like secret rooms in a house with no sign point to them. To find these, we need to switch to active enumeration, specifically a technique called DNS brute forcing. Sublister integrates a powerful module called like subbrute to do exactly this. How does it work? It takes a massive word list containing thousands of common subdomain names like admin, devs, staging, mail, FTP, VPN, remote, and so on, and symmetrically check if each one exists as DNS record for the target domain. If randombird.example.com resolved to an IP address, bingo, we have discovered a hidden subdomain. Be aware that this does generate network traffic, so it is technically less stealthy than passive discovery, but it often yields results that no other method can find. Enough theory, let's us get our hands dirty. Installing Sublist3r on Linux is refreshingly simple, especially if you are using Kali Linux, where it comes pre-installed. However, you are using Ubuntu, Debian, or any other Debian-based distribution, you can install it with single command sudo apt install sublist3r. Alternatively, you can install it using Python's pip install Sublist3r. My personal favorite method is using pips, which isolate the tool each in its own environment and make it globally accessible. First install pipx with sudo apt install pipx, then run pipx install sublist3r. The GitHub repository is also available at GitHub. You can see on the screen. If you prefer cloning it manually, choose whichever method you are comfortable with. There is no wrong answer here. Before Sublist3r can work its magic, it relies on a few Python libraries. Think of these as its trusted helper. The main dependencies are requests for making HTTP request to search engine, DNS Python for performing DNS lookup and resolution, and argparse for parsing all those command line argument will be used. If you install using apt or pip, these dependencies are usually pulled in automatically, but if you run into issues, you can always manually install these using a pip install request DNS Python arg parse. On Ubuntu or Debian, you can use also sudo apt get install python 3 request python 3 DNS Python python 3 arg parse. A quick tip, always check that you have Python 3 installed. Version 3.4 or higher is recommended because Sublist3r support Python 2.7 or modern system have moved on, and we must move with the time. The moment we have been waiting for, let us verify that Sublist3r is working correctly. Open your terminal and simply type sublist3r-h. This command displays the help menu showing all information about option and arguments. If you see a beautifully formatted list of with stylish ASCII art banner, something like slash slash slash, you can see, and then configuration, you are ready to go. If you get a command not found error, double check your installation. The help menu is your best friend. It contains every single flag and option you will ever need. Let us make a moment to appreciate the creator, Ahmed Abaul Illa, who built this tool with security community in mind. Now, before we move to real domains, let us do a quick safe test. Sublist3r d google.com, but only if you have stable internet connection and are authorized to test against public domain. Always obtain proper authorization before scanning any domain you do not own. Let us break down a typically Sublist3r command into a core component. At its simplest, command is sublist3r-d target.com. Here -d stands for domain and it is the only mandatory argument. Everything else is optional but incredibly powerful. For example, -o output.txt saves your result to a file. -b enable verbose mode showing live result as they are discovered. -t50 increase the number of thread for faster brute forcing. -e Google, Bing limit the search to specific engine and -b activate the brute force sub-brute module. Think of it like building a custom phrase. You have the verb sublister, the primary subject -d domain, and then all adverb and adjective, thread, engine, output, verbosity that fine tune the action. The beauty is that you can start simply and gradually and complexity as you become more comfortable. I always recommend starting with sublist3r-d domain.com-v so you can see the process unfold in real time. It is both educational and satisfying. One of Sublister's great strengths is its ability to query multiple data sources simultaneously. By default, it uses comprehensive set of engines: Google, Yahoo, Bing, Baidu, Ask, Netcraft, VirusTotal, ThreadCloud, DNS Dumpster, and Reverse DNS. Each source provides a unique perspective. Google has the most extensive index of web pages. Bing often find things Google misses. Baidu is excellent for domain popular in Asian market. Aristotle and Threat Crowd are security-focused intelligence that platform are aggregate DNS data from countless sources, and Netcraft has been monitoring internet infrastructure for decades. It's like having 10 detectives, each with their own source and contact, all working on same case simultaneously. You can also specify exactly which engine to use with -e flag. For example, -e Google, virus total, netgraph, which is useful if you want to focus on a specific source or avoid rate limiting from overused engine. More source mean more result, but they also mean more time. Find the balance that work for a specific use case. Let us walk through a real-world example. For demonstration purpose, we will use sublist3r-d kali.org-t5 and -e wing-v. As soon as you hit enter, Sublist3r will display its cool banner and smart enumerating. The verbose mode means you will see each domain as it is discovered right in front of your eyes. When scanning kali.org using only Wing, Sublist3r found 19 unique subdomains including Kali, Archive, Works, Git, Form, Security.kali.org, and other. Notice how many of these are functional websites. That is the power of subdomain enumeration. Each of these could be a candidate of further testing. Now, of course, this is Kali's own domain, which we ethically exploring educational purpose. Never ever run this against a domain without explicit written permission. I cannot emphasize this enough. Unauthorized scanning can be illegal and unethical. Always secure authorization first. You have just discovered 19, 15, or even 200 subdomains. This is a lot of information to keep in your head, which is why saving your result is absolutely essential. Sublist3r provides the hyphen of flag for exactly this purpose. Sublist3r the example.com o subdomain.txt. This saves every unique subdomains into a plain text file, one per line. Why is this important? Because some domains are rarely the final step. They are the starting point. Once you have this list, you can feed it into other tools: Nmap for port scanning, HTTPS for checking live web servers, Aquaton for screenshotting each subdomain, FUF for discovery, directory for forcing, and so much more. Having a clean, organized output file transforms Sublist3r from a standalone tools like into the first component of larger reconnaissance pipeline. I personalize always run Sublister with hyphen o flag even during the quick test because you never know when you might need to revisit those results later. Save early, save often. When you first start using Sublister, I strongly recommend enabling verbose mode with hyphen v flag. Why? Because verbose mode transforms a silent waiting process into an engaging educational experience instead of starting a blanking cursor of minutes wondering if anything is happening. You will be see each subdomain appear in real time as it is discovered. You will also see which engine found each subdomain. Google may report one list where Bing reports another. This is transparency helps you understand how the tool works, which engines are most productive, and how quickly results are flowing. For example, when scanning bbc.com, verbose output might be searching now in Google www.bbc.com followed by searching now in Bing API.bbc found it is both informative and satisfying to watch. However, once you become comfortable with the tool and are running automated scripting, you may prefer to disable verbose mode to keep logs clean, but the learning and discovery keep the hyphen v flag close to your heart. Threading is a technique that allows a programmer program to perform multiple operations simultaneously in the context of sublister. The "-t flag controls the number of threads used during the subroot brute force phase. The default is usually around 10 to 30 threads, but you can increase this to say -t 50 or even -t 100 to dramatically speed up the enumeration process. Think of it like having multiple cashiers open at a supermarket instead of just one. More cashier mean more customer proceed per minute. However, this is a trade-off. Too many threads can overwhelm the target's DNS server on the trigger rate limiting, and it can also tax your own system resource. In practice, I find that -t30 to -t50 strike a good balance between speed and stability, and most modern machines start with lower thread counts for stealth and increases as needed. Faster is not always better, but in authorized testing scenario, speed can be tremendous advantage when you are scanning large domains with massive wide list. As you progress in your bug bounty or penetration testing journey, you will find yourself needing to scan multiple targets, sometimes dozens or even hundreds of domain. Typing commands manually of each one is simply not efficient. Enter automation. You can easily wrap Sublist3r in a bash script to scan multiple domains sequentially. For example, you can create a file called target.txt with one domain per line, then write a simple loop while read domain colon do sublist3r hyphen d dollar domain hyphen o and dollar curly braces domain and subdomain.txt colon done less than target.txt. This script will read each domain, run sublist3r and save the result with subdomain name in the file name. You can also get creative combine Sublist3r with other tools like Nmap to automatically scan discovered subdomains or use sort-u to merge result with multiple enumeration tools. Automation is what separates casual users from professional recon expert. Once you have set up your pipeline, you can let it run overnight and wake up to comprehensive result. But always remember, automated scanning creates more traffic and may be more detectable. Always ensure you have proper authorization and scope definition. Sublist 3R is incredibly powerful by itself, but its true potential is unleashed when integrated into a broader reconnaissance pipeline. Here is your practical workflow I use frequently. First, run sublist3r to discover subdomain sublist3r dtarget.com o subdomain.txt. Then feed those subdomains into httpx to check which one have live web server. httpx-l subdomain.txt-o live host.txt. Next, take those live hosts and run them through nmap for port scanning. nmap-il live host txt p 80 443 8080 8443 nmap scan.txt. Finally, use a screenshot tool like Equaton to visually review each live subdomain. Cat livehost.txt pipe Equaton. You can even chain all of these commands in a single script. This is the beauty of Linux philosophy. Small focused tools that do one thing well and can be combined to create powerful workflow. Sublister is your first step in the chain. Master it, and you will have built the foundation of professional reconnaissance framework. No discussion of Sublister would be complete without addressing practical reality. Rate limit. Search engines like Google and Bing are not fond of automated query. They have systems in place to detect and block bots. When you run Sublist 3R, especially with verbose mode and high threads count, you may sometimes encounter HTTP 429 error, too many requests, or outright block. So what can you do? First, use -e flag to limit engine. Avoid using all engines simultaneously. Second, reduce your thread count to slow down the request. Third, consider using API keys where available. For example, Aristotle require an API key for automate access. You can set this in an environment variable like here. You can see export ABTA API key. Your API key is here. Some advanced users have developed modified version like Sublist3r v2.0, which specifically fix Aristotle integration issues. Remember, the respecting rate limiting limits is not just about avoiding blocks. It's about being a responsible member of the internet community. Even the best tool encounter error. Let me walk you through some common Sublister issues and how to fix them. First, module not found error. No module name request. This means your dependency are missing. Solution run pip install request DNS Python arg parse. Second, connection refused or timeout error. This often indicate network issue or that target DNS server are blocking your request. Try reducing thread count with -t10 or using a VPN. Third, sublist command not found. Even after installation, you might need to add the installation path to your path variable or simply run it as python 3 slash user slash win sublist3r. Fourth, no result found for a domain. This can happen if domain indeed has no subdomain or if all search engines are blocking. Try using -e wing, virus total or enable brute forcing with -v. Finally, remember to check your Python version. Python 3 double hyphen version. If you have Python 2 as a default, use Python 3 explicitly in command. Troubleshooting in skill is a skill itself, and every error you solve makes you a better penetration tester. This is the most important slide in our entire presentation. Sublister is a tool of discovery, but with great power comes great responsibility. Using Sublister against any domain you do not own or have explicit written permission to test is illegal in most jurisdictions. It violates computer frauds and abuse law and can result in criminal prosecution, fines, and imprisonment. For ethical hacker and bug bounty hunters, the rules are simple. Stay within the scope defined by bug bounty program, often written authorization for penetration tester, and never ever engage in unauthorized scanning. Regardless of your intention, even testing against a domain to see what happened can be considered a crime. The Kali Linux tool page itself includes clear guidance about authorized use only. So here is my message to you. Use your skills for good, protect system, help organization and report vulnerability responsibility. The cybersecurity community thrives on trust and ethics. Do not be the one who break that trust. Always ask, do I have permission? If answer is no, do not run the scan. How does Sublister stack up against other subdomain enumeration tools like Amas and Subbinder? Let us have an honest comparison. Sublister is fast, lightweight, and perfect for beginner. It integrates both passive OSINT and active brute forcing in single page package. It is my go-to kick scan and initial reconnaissance since AMAS developed by OWASP is more advanced feature passive data collection for dozens of source, active DNS resolution and even network mapping capabilities. It is excellent but can be intimidating for newcomers. Subfinder is designed purely for passive innovation and is incredibly fast. So it does no active brute force by default, which make it stealthy but less comprehensive. So here is my recommendation. Start with Sublister to build your understanding as you grow. Incorporate Subfinder for passive discovery and Amas for deep, exhaustive enumeration. The best reconnaissance strategy use multiple tools because each tool finds some domain that other miss, but for learning speed and simplicity, Sublister is the perfect starting point. Since its original release, the security community has continued to improve Sublister. The most notable enhancement is Sublister 3 version 2.0 maintained by HXLXMJ on GitHub. So what is new? The critical improvement is the resolution of VirusTotal API integration issue. In the original version, users frequently encountered block when querying VirusTotal because of missing or outdated API handling. Additionally, version 2.0 adds a new enumeration source called thread I for broader enumeration subdomain. The enumerator modules of various search engines have been refined and optimized. Error handling has been significantly improved, and performance optimization can the tool run more smoothly. These updates position Sublist3r version 2.0 as more robust and reliable tool compared to its predecessor. If you are using the original version and experience issue, I highly recommend upgrading to 2.0. The installation is similar. Clone the repository from GitHub and follow the same dependency installation step. The future of Sublist3r look bright. Subroot come with a built-in word list, but it is a generic. To truly maximize your brute force result, you should create custom word list tailored to your target. How do you do this? First, consider the target's industry. For example, PayPal, Stripe, Checkout, Billing. Those would be relevant for a financial company. For tech startup, word like dev, staging, test, dashboard, admin, portal are common. But you can also use tools like CEWL to scrape words from the target's own website. Common speak for massive generated password list or checklist, the famous collection of word list from infosec security. Once you have generated your custom word list, you can use it Sublist3r brute force module. While standard -v flag use the built-in word list, some versions allow custom word list path. If the feature is not available, consider using Sublist3r for passive discovery and then feeding the result into dedicated brute forcing tools like DNS Recon or GoBuster DNS with custom word list. The more context specific your word list, the fewer false positives you will get and higher quality your result will do. Let me share a motivating real-time real-world example. A bug bounty hunter was testing a large e-commerce platform bug bounty programs using Sublist3r in passive mode, like sublister-dtarget.com-b, followed by aggression brute force -b. Also, they discovered an obscure subdomain, oldadminportal.internet.target.com. This subdomain was not linked from anywhere, had no search engine presence, and was completely unknown to security team. Upon further investigation, the hunter found the portal was running on outdated version of a content management system and with non-remote code execution vulnerability. They reported responsibly and company fixed it immediately, awarding Hunter a 5,000 bounty, which is in dollar. This is actually happened. This is story illustrate the power of through subdomain enumeration. The difference between finding nothing and finding critical vulnerability often comes down to persistent and right tools. This is why we are here today, so that each of you can that person who find the hidden vulnerability and makes the internet safer. Keep hunting, can keep learning and never give up. We have covered an immense amount of ground today. We started with fundamental what sublister is its role in subdomain enumeration and why subdomain enumeration matters. We explored installation method, dependency and basic use. We drove into advanced technique, threading, port scanning, verbosity, saving result and automation. We compared Sublist3r with AMP competitors, examined version 2.0, discussed legal and ethical consideration, and embedded with inspiring success story. Now, here is my challenge to you. Open your terminal, install Sublist3r, and start practicing only on domain you own or have permission to test. Build your Reconnaissance workflow, experiment with flags, and integrate Surflister with other tools. The path is to mastery is through practice. Thank you for attention. Thank you for commitment to ethical hacking. And I wish you success in all subdomain discovery. Stay curious. I will meet you with next video of it hacking. Okay, we will start this sublister. So first of all, we have to check the help section of sublister. We will show you. As you can see, I have told you already all of these. Hyphen e, which engine you want to specify, and to find the subdomains and threads. You can know I had told you above us to see what is happening and what is not. Ports, you know what is ports, and brute force for brute forcing the subdomains which is not accessible on the Google or publicly and database. Hyphen d equal domain. I had clear all of them, so I will practice something like we have to run sublist3r hyphen d, and this is domain, and this is searching Baidu, Yahoo, Google, Wing, Ask, Netcraft, DNS, Dumpster, Wires, Toastal, SSL. These are where Sublister is finding, and it will give the which subdomains are publicly accessible. So wait until he gave to us. Hyphen o for output. You can output in any file .txt file which you want to save subdomains. It can take some time because it will try every search engine to retrieve DNS and subdomains. You have to only run. It has not find anything, but because Total probably now is blocking our request. I think it is not updated. I have to update it. So I had told you already that you can check why you have to write this option, and then what you want to retrieve, so you can do it practically and easily.